Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. Thank you for clicking by. This is all about wine education here for those of you just wanting to learn a bit more, maybe in some detail or great detail, and really specifically designed for those of you studying the world of wine for the likes of WSET, the Wine and Spirit Education Trust. And this video follows along that. This follows the syllabus for the Diploma Level 4. So we're going to look at Greece, and we are looking at the Greek wine regions, the romantic part of Greece. I love doing the geographical parts of these presentations. And it's as follows. We've got a 6-part series looking at 2 videos from Macedonia, both available as free content, 2 videos from the Peloponnese, and then two from the islands of Santorini and Crete. Now, this is only a drop in the Aegean Ocean for Greek wine. So this is what is on the syllabus of the diploma. Well, Crete actually isn't much, but I've added it in for good measure anyway. So this follows the syllabus plus more information on top. If you do have any comments or questions, perhaps you have been to Greece, you like Greek wine, what are your thoughts of Retsina? Have you tried the things of like Santorini Athletiko? Get in touch, please, and comment on this video below. Make sure you click both like and subscribe. If you do want to get in touch with social media, you'll find that at the bottom of every slide as well. So the way we'll do this presentation is, first of all, looking at Macedonia, the northern Greek region that you'll see highlighted in blue on your map just there. And then eventually, once I've talked about Macedonia as a whole, we'll then drill down to Naoussa, where we'll talk about that very unique and important PDO wine growing region. So here you see highlighted in blue the Greek region of Macedonia. It's situated along the northern border of the country, of course, touching the areas like Albania, North Macedonia, and also Bulgaria. It is very large, and as a result, it offers a wide range of conditions from the mountains in the north and west to the plains towards Cava in the east. So you have a big diversity found here. So let's talk about the sort of overall climate and topography just here. So in the mountains, the climate is continental. However, due to the altitude, which can get quite distinctively high, temperatures can remain relatively cool. Rain will fall throughout the year. On average, it's about sort of 650 to 700 millimeters per year. And that makes water supply less of an issue than other zones. So there is good amounts of water availability here. Now, Macedonia's 2 leading PDOs, protected designations of origin, which is Naoussa and then also Amynteo, are situated in this area. Also, the PDO of Goumenissa is based here as well. Do look out for that. So, the climate. On the plains, the climate is warm and Mediterranean in comparison to continental for the mountains. The previous picture, you saw Mount Vermio. Here is Simonides Vineyards in Iliokori, which is in the PGI of Cava, which is more towards the eastern side. Now, the area is in the rain shadow of the mountains here and therefore drier. The fertile soils are also ideal for the production of high volume wines, but there are also some good and very good quality wines being produced in the PGIs of Drama and Cava, for example. So we're going to be focusing, of course, on those 2 PDOs. So Naoussa and also Amynteo, you'll see up there on your slide. So it's traditionally here, Macedonia, a red wine production area. And Xinomavro is the grape variety of classic nature here behind these two PDOs. Of course, we're going to focus on Naoussa very, very soon. But the warmer, drier Drama Valley and Cava, which sit to the east, I have identified them on this map just here. These are both PGIs, and they have established a rather strong reputation for high quality, full bodied, modern style Bordeaux blends, amongst other types of wines. Certainly, the white grapes look out for Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc at altitude, and then also full-bodied ripe wines from popular Greek varietals such as Assertico and Malgousia in those areas like Drama and Cava valleys. Okay. So we're going to, of course, drill down into Naoussa. So each time I have now sort of cut the Macedonian region in half on this map, just to show you the two areas we're looking at. And first of all, of course, Nemea here, which is looking right into that sort of northwesterly point of Macedonia. Now, the PDO of Naoussa covers the southeastern slopes of that rather large mountain, that is Mount Vermio, which I showed you a picture of earlier. It's the most prominent wine area in the Amynteo, with approximately 3/4 of the vineyard in this area. The vineyards are planted at about 150 to 400 meters, and the best sites for viticulture are sheltered from the strong, cold winds which can blow from the north and the west, but temperatures here still will remain quite cool, of course. So next up is just talking a bit more about the geology and microclimates. So Naoussa has a complex mixture of soils: limestone, loam, sand, and clays. And the microclimates are based more on aspect and topography rather than altitude. We do have altitude more focus in other PDOs like its neighbor Amynteo, but also in the Peloponnese, in places like Mountainea and Nemea, altitude is more significant. But here it's about more things like aspect, geology, and topography. A number of producers are now making village or single vineyard wines, which can highlight the variations between the different parts of the region. So it's becoming perhaps a little bit more Burgundian in its focus of the land. Now, as we know, Naoussa PDO wines must be made from 100% Xinomavro. They tend to have high acidity, high tannins, and a real great complexity of aromas and the potential to age for decades. I have gone through this grape variety in much greater detail in the key black grape varieties in season 1 of Greece, if you want to look at that in more detail. Most wines are mid-priced with a few premium examples, and they range from good to outstanding in quality. Now, those combinations mean that, in fact, value for money for the complexity you get of PDO Naoussa is very high. Do look out for significant producers like Thimiopoulos and also Kyriani as well as top producers. And finally, we're talking about traditional wines versus modern styles. Traditionally, the wines were aged in large, old wooden vessels, giving wines with a pronounced, spicy, and meaty, savory character rather than fruity aromas. But in the 1990s, some producers started using French oak barriques, giving them even firmer tannins, more body, and of course, oaky characteristics. But of course, it's kind of like a pendulum. It's now swinging back to people wanting more restrained expressions from their wines. In recent years, a modern style has emerged using riper fruit and then even cold soaking or whole bunch fermentation to produce more deeply coloured, fruitier wines, but with less evident tannins. Certainly when you are focusing on the young vines of Xinomavro. Often producers will separate their Xinomavro into older vine premium expressions and then younger vine, more fruitier, softer tannin expression. Okay, let's have a look at the Google Earth video. There is Greece in white, and we're focusing in Macedonia in the north, going into sort of mountainous zones. And a lot of the vineyard areas here have rainfalls of about 650 to 700 millimeters per year. We're going to focus in at the Vermio Mountains, which shelters some of the wine regions here from the cooler north winds, and specifically at Naoussa, which is on the slopes of the Vermio Mountains at about 150 to 400 meters, well known for 100% Xinomavro. Then we're going to look at a couple of lakes nearby across the mountains. That's Lake Vegoratida and Lake Petron, which moderate the area Amynteo to the south. It does increase fungal diseases, but it does moderate the location. And that's where we're going to focus on just next door here, Amynteo, the PDO of Amynteo. It's on a plateau that is affected by 3 mountains, but also those lakes. It's higher altitude than Naoussa at about 570 to 750 meters and does experience more colder winds. It's also 100% Xinomavro. Well, that is it for the Naoussa section. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please do get in touch. Have you been to the region? Are you a local? Do you like the variety Xinomavro? Are you a big fan of it? Do you want to talk about where it sits on the international stage? Do get in touch. It will be great to hear from you. Please do join me for part 2 on the other key PDO of Macedonia, which is the Amynteo. Looking forward to that. Remember, parts 3 to 6 are only available on my e-learning portal over at www.winewithjimmy.com. If you do find yourself in the UK as well, come and say hello and see me for a class, a glass, or a bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Goodbye.